morning. We're just waiting for some others to join. So if you're here already, welcome. Find a comfy seat and just make yourself really comfortable so that you can sit in the same position or roughly the same position. Doesn't matter if you move, but just so you don't have to adjust yourself too much over the next half an hour or whatever. And I've got the music playing in the background. I will be softening that every now and then, like now. I'll just bring the sound down a little bit while I talk a little. So welcome to White City Connect. We're providing occupiers of White City Place a live platform to learn and engage while supporting well-being from the comfort and safety of your homes. So thank you for joining us. And I hope you'll explore some of the other things on offer as well during this crazy time. Anyway, we're here for you, so thank you for that. So we're going to hone in on really the art of noticing. So what that means really is taking things in around your surroundings, but also above and beyond that as well. So it's more of a mindfulness practice than a deep meditation. It's something that you can learn to do while you're going out for your walk. If you're lucky enough to have a park around, or nice gardens, or even just walking up and down the street, it's starting to focus your mind on all the things that you pass through your daily life. And it can be very, very small, inane things like noticing a car's registration plate, or an unusual brick in a wall, or something more beautiful like a flower blooming, or without sounding cliched about the flower, looking deeply into the flower, seeing the shape and how the petals are formed, and really, really looking at it. And as much as all these things might seem unimportant, the idea behind it is that you're increasing your awareness. And that works at a few different levels. It means that when you increase your awareness, a few things happen. One thing is that your memory improves. So if you're, say, walking down the street and you notice the car registration, you look at the brick in the wall, you take longer looking at the flower, you notice the person wearing the red hat with the baby stroller with the blue blanket, with the baby with the stripy leggings next to the green fir tree. When you notice things like this, it's just a practice. When you go along your day and you're noticing things like this, maybe on your lunch break or something, when you see these things, don't just see them, but say them to yourself. So you look in the car regio and you'll say, oh, car regio plate. You might read out the number to yourself mindfully, just not out loud. You can just say it into your mind. And then look at the yellow flower. Is it yellow flower? Beautiful. Oh, that person has a pink hat, blue stroller, baby's leggings, whatever it might be. And then you'll find, if you test yourself, in 10 minutes down the road or whatever, what was it that I saw? You'll remember all those things. And the idea behind that is not only does it increase your memory, but you will have become more aware of the things that you passed. So we go through our lives not noticing what's around us. And I'm sure many of you, especially those that drive, will have traveled down a motorway, done 100 miles, and suddenly woken up and thought, God, I don't even remember that time. I don't remember what happened. Did we pass anything? Gosh, it's almost quite scary. You've been driving on this autopilot. So it's developing your consciousness. And like I say, these objects can seem inane at the time. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something really beautiful. Like I say, walking through a park, it's wonderful to notice all these things. But what happens also, apart from increasing your memory and the grey matter, your prefrontal cortex, what it also does is what you focus on grows. So if you start noticing little things like that, you will start noticing more things. So you might stop and say, oh, okay, fir tree, oh, those branches got really high. And then you might see a bird that you've never ever seen in your life, or a squirrel, or whatever it might be. But it basically increases your appreciation. And when that happens, you become much happier. The other obvious thing is that you are totally in the present moment. So when you're noticing things step by step, you are present moment focused. So that's why it becomes a little mindfulness exercise. And it's really great because it does develop parts of your brain that need a little bit of exercise. So take your brain on a little bit of a exercise mission when you have your daily walk at the moment and see what happens. It's just fun. All right, so we're going to bring all of that kind of focus into our living rooms and our bodies. Last week we did a little kind of mindfulness looking around your room, but today we're just going to kind of keep it really nice and simple, as in we're going to really focus on the sensations in your body. But before we go on to that, that's going to be the second part of the meditation. The first part is to really kind of get you there. So we're going to start with some easy breathing exercises. And then I want to show you this idea, because when we start using the breath as our focus, what happens is because we breathe all the time, we get very easily distracted because we go into autopilot again. We're just breathing naturally. We forget to focus on it. It's normal. It's very, very normal. So we get these thoughts coming in, and we're trying to expand the space between the thoughts each time. So that's what happens. So when we can use something to focus on with our breath, using our breath, then it becomes a lot easier. So that's why I'm sitting on the floor today. You don't have to sit on the floor. You can be sitting in a comfortable seat. Your back can be supported. Honestly, it's more important that you are really, really comfortable. So this exercise is really, it's going to be a bit of a visual. So keep your eyes open at the moment. We're not going to do it now because I'm going to take you through some breathing exercises to get you to the place where I want you to bring this in. But I want you to see it at the moment. So I'm showing you while your eyes are open because it's a visual kind of thing. And then you can imagine it when it's your turn. So imagine when you're breathing in with your eyes closed, not now, but later. Imagine when you're breathing in that you're breathing in through your arms, probably both arms at the same time, but the in-breath's coming in, up the arm, up to the shoulder, all the way up to the neck, to the back of the brainstem, and then coming all the way back down again, out through the fingers. So you can imagine that like a wave coming up through your hands and really noticing it, feeling it coming all the way right up to your head and then all the way back down again, floating back down your arms to your fingers. So it's a really nice way to focus on the in-breath and the out-breath. And I'll talk you through it when we get to that point, okay? So I want you just to start off just breathing normally. So just to close your eyes. You don't need to see me for any of this part. Closing your eyes. And just notice how the breath is now. Without really trying to change it at the moment, you're just noticing the breath. And now I want you to take a really deep breath in through your nose and hold it at the top of that breath for a couple of seconds. So breathing in, fill yourself up, hold that breath. And then out through your mouth, but slowly. So your exhale is going to be a lot longer than the inhale. And again, in through the nose. Holding it. Long exhale. One more of those. Breathing in. Fill yourself up. Holding the breath there. Long exhale. And then just breathing normally for a moment. Just noticing the breath. And now if your hands are on your knees, just turning it until the palms are up, turning the hands till the palms are facing up. And we're going to take that same exercise that I showed you with your eyes open. So imagine the breath coming in through the hands, the inhale. So breathing in now, through the hands, up the arms, up towards the shoulder, up the neck, into the brainstem. Maybe pausing at the top and then letting it go out, down the neck, across the shoulders, down the upper arms, down the forearms, through the hands. And again, just sweeping in. And brushing down the arms on the way out. So I'm just going to turn the music up. You just keep that going for a few breaths in your own time. There's no speed. Doesn't matter how slow, how fast it is. You just go at your own pace, your breath. Every time a thought comes into your mind, just come back to the exercise, breathing in through the hands, up the arms. And then just letting that go, letting that process go. Coming back to your regular breath and just noticing what that breath is like, how it feels. While you're noticing how it feels, I want you to just be very conscious of any sounds that you may have, whether they're upstairs, downstairs, in a room next to you, or maybe even outside. And use that as a challenge. I've currently got my neighbor vacuuming upstairs, and it's very loud, so you might be able to hear that. But use this opportunity to really not get attracted to the sound. The sounds are a little bit like thoughts. You can either get attracted to them, attached to them, or you can just kind of let them go. The way of letting them go is just coming back to your focus. So that'll be the breath in this instance. So just noticing how it feels, having done that little breath exercise. Just being really aware, and I'm going to start tuning into the body feels now. So wherever you're sitting, if you're sitting up, you might have your sitting bones on a chair or on the floor. Or if you're lying back, you might be conscious of your back being supported. But I want you to really there's that noise again. So just see if we can just know that it's there and just ignore it. Just carry on with our meditation, the breathing, because this is going to happen a lot in life. When you take a daily meditation, it's not always going to be quiet. There are going to be obstacles. And the key thing with meditation is it's how you respond rather than react. So it's responding rather than reacting. It's like taking a beat just to go, you know what? It's just a sound. I can still focus on my breath. I'm still breathing. So from here, we're going to really focus on every part of our body that's touching the floor. So it might be your feet. It might be your bottom if you're sitting on the floor. It might just be the feet. And then traveling up the legs, seeing if you can soften your knees. Your hips, your back, and your neck. Quite often when we sit in meditation, quite often if we get really relaxed, the head starts to tip back. So see if you can keep that chin tucked in towards your chest slightly, so the back of the neck stays nice and long. And then just starting to notice any other sensations in your body. So it might be tingling in your hands. You might even be aware of your heartbeat. And then notice your jaw. See if you can relax your jaw. Quite often we'll be gripping our jaw. And also the eyes, letting your eyes go soft. The eyes sink into their sockets. Taking your attention onto your skin. Just noticing the parts of your body that are exposed to the air and feeling the air on the skin. Allowing your cheek muscles to relax. I want you to imagine that every single cell in your body is softening, is melting. So much that the body starts to lose its form. The only thing that you're conscious of is the breath, which has no form. But in breath and out breath. Just seeing how long you can keep that nice soft focus on your breath before another random thought comes in. And that's fine when you have a thought, it really doesn't matter. You just remind yourself to go back to your point of focus, your breath. It's as simple as noticing the in and the out. So every time that thought comes in, you just don't get attached to it. Just like the sounds, you just let them run over you and just come back to your breath. So you're expanding the space between your thoughts. Even when the breath is soft like this, you might be aware of an expansion to your chest as you inhale, softly on the out breath. Still keeping the whole body really, really soft. When you find yourself getting lost in thought, just come back to the breath. Come back to the body feels. Pressure on your sitting bones or on your back. Just as you're sitting there soft, letting gravity take you. letting gravity soften you, pull you down to the earth. Just keep coming back to your breath every time you get attached to your thoughts. Just remind yourself, coming back. Just repetition, coming back to the breath. However many times you have to do that, just keep coming back. Finding it challenging to keep that focus, you can always come back to the exercise, breathing through your hands, up your arms, sweeping all the way up to your brainstem and back down again. Even if it's just a few of those focused breaths between the thoughts, that's great. That really doesn't matter. You're just training your mind to keep coming back, and that space will get longer over time. Then from here, just taking your one hand onto your belly and one hand on your heart space. And just start by feeling the in breaths coming into the belly. So the belly might feel like it's expanding a little bit on the in breath. And then just softening on the out. So just getting used to that for a couple of breaths. And then with that right hand on the heart or the left hand on the heart, whichever way you've got your hands, just focusing on what you might be feeling grateful for. And It may be that nothing startling happened to make you feel like that today. It might just be getting out of bed this morning healthy. It could be a cup of coffee. It could be your first cup of tea of the day. It could be a good phone call. It could be a great meeting. It could be absolutely anything. It can be really small. Whatever it might be, just thinking of something that you're really grateful for. Just breathing in that gratitude and feeling it fill up the body, especially the belly. If you feel like times feel hard, you're having a bad day, this is a really good place to come back to. Just feeling that gratitude for all the little tiny things or big things, simply being alive. Gently lowering your hands back down onto your knees or wherever they were before, wherever you're comfortable. Just breathing normally, just feeling the rise of the chest and the belly with the inhales and soft on the exhales. Still feeling a little bit monkey mind, then just take that exercise you did at the very beginning, just 3 rounds of breathing in, holding the breath, and then letting it go for a very long, long exhale. It's always a great thing to come back to if you're struggling with keeping it nice and soft, just focusing on the breath. You can always do that and it'll just kind of reset you again. So just starting to now come a little bit outside of your body and start to notice the sounds around your living space. So it might just be the music in the background, it could be my voice, it might just be the sound of your own breath in and out. It might be your neighbors. It might be outside. If there's anything you can hear outside, just a little bit further away from you, distant sounds. And again, just noticing your body, if there's anywhere else you can soften, any muscles you can let go of. Noticing if your head's tipped back slightly, if you can draw your chin back down. Noticing any sensations in the body, maybe tingling in your hands. Maybe a muscle you can let go of. Maybe your jaw, maybe your frown line, you could soften. Very, very gently, I want you to start opening your eyes, but feel like you're kind of sweeping them, your eyelashes across the floor. So it's a very low gaze as you slowly bring yourself back into the room. Always allow that time, in the same way as it takes you a while to get into your meditation. It's good to allow yourself the time to come out of it. You don't want to kind of just spring back up on your feet and carry on your day. Just allow the transition to come back into the room. I find it helps to kind of move my body a little bit, just to kind of like move back into it. Especially if you've been sitting still, you might want to kind of like shrug your shoulders around a little bit. Just that movement of the body can just, kind of oxygenate you more and make you feel a little bit more like you can come back into the day again. Yeah. All right. So thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Hand on heart, I'm grateful for you being here. I'm sorry about the noise that happened halfway through with the neighbor, my noisy neighbor upstairs. She didn't know I was doing this, and that's absolutely fine. And it was a really good opportunity to example what it can be like when you have sounds. They will happen, and honestly, if you take your daily practice regularly, every day, I advise, you will come across that. There'll be a noisy car going by, or people who are suddenly on their phone. Once you sit on a nice quiet park bench, you think you've got it quiet, and then somebody walks by on their phone really loud or whatever. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So it's great to get used to that and use it as a tool. Use it as a challenge to not get pulled into it. Like the same as with the thoughts. You have the thoughts, they're there. Don't stop them coming in. That's you're designed to think. Your brain is designed to think. But you can choose the attention that you pay towards your thoughts. It's the same with the sounds. So that was quite funny that happened. there then. All right, so thanks, guys. I'll be back next week. Take care, stay safe, and yeah, thanks for connecting with Why City Connect.